What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Update Classic. All your favorite updates that we love bringing to you. Well, not all, actually. Most of them behind Viall Files Plus. So I know you guys love these updates. I know we love bringing them to you. And if you are thirsting for more, which I know you are, just go to Viall Files Plus. It's free to sign up. ViallFiles.com. Just click that button. It's a free 7-day trial. Anyway, I digress. Where does digress come from? Is that Latin?
The opposite of progress?
I have no... Oh. But where...
Like, I sometimes say things, like context clues, like I think I know what it means, but I don't really know what digress means.
So, according to dictionary.com, the word digress has been around since the 16th century. It comes from a Latin root that literally means to step away. So, related to words like aggressive, gradient, and progress, but we digress.
So when you're progressing, you're stepping away forward.
Yeah.
When you digress, you're redirecting.
So I'm stepping away from the conversation, basically, when people say, but I digress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is people, like, I'm gonna stop. So obviously, when digress, like when I kept telling the audience who disagreed with me last week that they're wrong about Joe and the gaslighting.
Right.
Yeah.
And eventually, if I would have said, and I digress, instead of progress, I guess, would have been what I did, which is me continuing to tell people they were wrong, and then probably them telling me that I was.
I will say, though, when people use digress, they don't really use it to digress. Like, digress is just another way to, like, put a trump card, like, I'm going to stop talking. So, like, I digress. So, like, the conversation's over.
Right, like,
you
have the whole conversation, you digress.
When you're done.
And then you say, I digress.
Yeah, but a lot of people use it as a, like, don't ask more. Like, end of conversation.
Right. So, that's it. Period.
Yeah.
I digress equals period.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got some great updates for you, but before we get to those updates, Leia wanted to get into something.
Yeah, I was just down a rabbit hole on TikTok in relationship theories, and some of these are kind of old, but there are a lot of different theories that people are posting on TikTok, so we thought it could be fun to discuss with you and get your opinion on them.
Let's do it.
All right, so the first one is the invisible string theory.
No idea.
Okay, so basically what it is, it's the idea that you and your soulmate are connected through an invisible string or thread.
Oh my God. This is like twin flames?
Yes,
and it's written in the universe that you'll be together one day. So essentially, like, we're connected to a person so innately that the bond can't be broken and that you would find this person in any lifetime, no matter what. And a lot of people also think that Taylor Swift's song has something to do with this as well.
Wait, where does Taylor Swift come into this?
Well, because she has that song Invisible String.
Gotcha. So this is a Taylor Swift theory, or
no,
people on
before.
TikTok took a lyric from Taylor and made it into something else? And is it? And what are the origins of this theory other than TikTok? Is it like in 15th century?
I don't know the origins. Some of them I know the origins for that we'll get into later.
What I've learned about TikTok, it's just like people are so bored with their lives that they will just try to come up with new meanings and new definitions and new phrases, like ick. You know, we talked a lot about icks. Well, it's not like icks were invented. It was just a new way of describing a turnoff.
Right. So essentially, this is a new way, in my opinion, of describing a soulmate. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say it says that it's an ancient Celtic ceremony of a couple's hands literally being tied together with a braided cord or ribbon in the presence of a priest.
So that it's like a Celtic wedding tradition.
Yeah, of like people being bound together.
Yeah.
But it's invisible because you don't know who they are.
So, but according to the invisible string theory, Nally and I have been bonded by an invisible string, or how does the theory work for all the people who have like multiple divorces or broken relationships?
That eventually the person who they're destined to be with is out there, but they just haven't met them yet.
Okay, gotcha. So, I guess is there a world where you can never meet your invisible string person?
I mean, yeah, because a lot of people die single.
Yeah. There is that too.
So that's a flaw in the
free
theory.
will come in and all that. Yeah.
Do you believe in like twin flames?
No.
Okay.
I believe
because invisible string is a more like it's spiritual. I feel like more like as the twin flames, you don't have to be romantically connected.
The most spiritual I get when it comes to like what I believe in relationships is free will.
So you don't believe in soulmates?
I believe that God gave us the choice to make choices for ourselves, and he was done after that. They always say, like, you know, not to get religious here, but like the greatest gift that God gave us was in fact free will. And yet we never talk about that. I never hear Christians or Catholics. I'm a Catholic, so that's like Christian. Depends on who you ask, I suppose. But they never talk about free will. It's always, but free will. It's like, that's kind of an important thing. Anyway, but I believe in that. I believe that we make choices, and sometimes those choices are wrong, and sometimes those choices are right. And life is all about learning from choices. That's it. That's all. That's what I believe in.
I kind of believe that we think that we have free will, and we really have like a destiny. Like they can exist.
So you believe free will was a myth?
No, I think that
like something God pretended to give us?
I think that they exist at the same time. Like we have, I believe in the invisible string theory.
You do? Oh my God.
I do. I believe
you married your high school sweetheart.
Well,
you have to. You're just...
No, but I believe that maybe there are multiple soulmates, but I do believe that there's like a person out there that's like for you, and that yes, you have free will that could lead you to them sooner or in a longer time. Like, for example, I had free will to decide which high school I was going to go to because I went to private school. And so there were 2 schools that I was really deciding between. And at the last second, I chose the one that I ended up going to. If I hadn't chosen that school, I never would have met Danny. So it's like, I had free will, but I could have decided either way. And I ended up where I was meant to be.
Also, some sectors of Catholicism believe in predestination, right? So
I'm not the person to ask.
Also not me, but from my Catholic class, I believe that's like some people believe in predestination. It's like you can have free will, but also like be predetermined to like.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I feel like mostly in like Christian religion, it's like God has, God's plan, right? And so, and within that plan would be like God knows how you're gonna die. I mean, that's how I was raised, is knowing that God knows how it's all gonna play out, even though He gives. I don't know. I just I believe in.
So you don't believe in the invisible string theory?
I don't. What else we got?
Okay, so the other one is orange peel theory.
Oh my God!
Have you heard of this one? Okay, so apparently this one. So it's basically, it revolves around your partner's reaction to being asked to do something. So the theory hinges on acts of service and the idea that while you may be perfectly capable of completing the task, for example, peeling an orange on your own, that your partner's willing to do it for you anyway without hesitation. So it's like, hey, can you open this water bottle for me? And it's like, you didn't even, and it's their reaction to that question more so than like whether or not they actually do it. So it's like, oh yeah, sure, of course. Or it's like, what do you mean? Like you didn't even try.
Well, I guess there's nuance to that. I love. I'm an acts of service guy. That's how I give love easily without trying. I love to take care of the people I love. It's like I'm obsessed with it. It's what wakes me up in the morning is to like take care of the people I care about. And so with that, I all those things I love doing those things. But everyone wants to feel appreciated, and so every relationship's had that. Where you all of a sudden it's like you're so used to someone doing something for you over and over and over that you stop asking and then just like hold out your hand type of thing. Where before it was like, hey, can you fill me up a cup of water? Hey, can you fill me up a cup of water? Hey, can you get my water for me? And then all of a sudden one day you just stick out your hand with an empty cup,
right?
Expecting them to do the thing because you got so used to them doing it. When that happens, then you're kind of like, why? You can't do that on your own,
So you're saying it also has a lot to do with how the question is asked?
Yeah, how it's phrased.
The TikTok trend that people were doing for a while with this orange peel theory was they would just take an orange and give it to their partner or significant other and just be like, hey, can you peel this for me? And it was always like, how quick were they to just be like, yeah, sure? Or like, were they like...
When sometimes you don't ask, you just hand it out, right? So it's like it's the intuition of
so some people, you're right, were just giving the orange.
So I'm curious how that orange peel theory test was conducted, because if they said, "Can you do this or do this?" Like, was there an ask? Be like, "Hey, peel this orange for me," or "Can you peel this orange for me?" Or third option, which I bet was like, "Hey, can you help me? I need you to help. Can you help me peel this orange?" Like including the word help, immediate, like it's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, that would be interesting to like now go back at all those videos and see like the
Like who
how
said
the question
what?
was asked?
Oh my God, it matters so much. The context. Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because if you're just like, hey, oh my God, babe, can you help me? I can't get this open. I mean, you know,
right.
Like if Natalie can't open a jar, I'm like, oh, put some more like elbow grease in it. You know, like I'm never like, I'm like, sure, no problem. You know,
right.
And anytime I feel like I can help, I'm there. I love doing that. You know, if I feel like I'm being asked to do my job and not even asked, but like told, then that it no longer feels like an act of service. It feels like a job. So it all comes down to the delivery. Anyways, what else we got?
No, I guess that's interesting. It goes two ways. Okay, this is, we'll save a few for Ask Nick on Monday, but the last one for today is the February-March theory.
Oh my God.
So,
no idea.
The February-March theory.
Who comes up with this shit?
The ones that we're going to discuss on Monday's Ask Nick are wild. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on those. So this one is, there are 2 months out of the year, so I assume February and March, where couples notoriously either get together or call it quits. So TikTok creators claim that during this time, new relationships blossom, while more long-term relationships will come to an end.
Is there a reason why? I mean, there must be stats on this. I feel like this is a provable theory.
Right, I don't know. But I do know that a lot of people like break up on Valentine's Day, right? Wasn't that a thing that we talked about this year?
I think holidays in general, I think it's like a surprising stat that's probably accurate, that a lot of breakups happen around Valentine's Day or holidays. And I think that's based off the idea that whether it's Valentine's Day specifically, because Valentine's Day is a day to celebrate your relationship. And so what happens as a Valentine's Day approaches is you start like evaluating your relationship, you know, instead of thinking about what kind of gift you give to your partner. I think some people are thinking, why do I want to give this person a gift? You know what I'm saying? It makes you think and evaluate and consider the strength of your relationship. Same thing with any holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, do I want to bring this person home to meet my family again? Do I want to go to my partner's family who I barely even like? I don't even like them. Let's break up. You know what I'm saying? So I think they in deal making, there's a very famous saying, which is deadlines spur action. You know, most deals get done right before the deadline, you know, and that's not a coincidence because they have to get, you know, people procrastinate. They're like, until you're forced to make a decision, you generally don't make a decision. Breaking up is hard to do in general. And, you know, it's these type of these moments in a year or whatever that, you know, force people to make a tough choice they would normally just procrastinate on, which is why I think holidays are notorious for breakups. Now, as far as February and June and February and March.
Wait, when did you and Natalie get together?
We met in September, and then we decided to be in a relationship like in July.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay. How about you, Justin?
November.
All right. So I will say Danny and I got together in March, at the end of March.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So it's true.
I mean, Psychology Today says, according to social media status updates, the first seasonal breakup peak, coined the spring clean, goes down in March. But the biggest love purge falls about 2 weeks before the winter holidays. So both of
people are getting in relationships before the winter holidays.
Biggest love purge.
Love purge.
Getting rid of.
Get rid of.
So like there is a big peak within March, but then like the biggest peak is going to be before the holidays, like what you say, kind of. Like.
Interesting.
So yeah, people break up right before summer.
Yeah.
And right before they realize they don't want to spend another day with someone else's in-laws or family.
Yeah. Interesting about spring cleaning, though, because that does happen in the spring, like February, March time. So I guess they're doing like a spring cleaning of not just their house.
I think we're trained as kids, you know, like when we have summer break of like, it's the summer's about fun and freedom and adventure and independence.
Who are you, Kyle? Summer is fun. Amanda, not fun.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think some of us grow out of it and grow, you know, and more mature. But I think it meant like in our brains, you know, we think summer is approaching, and it's just like if you have something that's been weighing you down, you want to spring. You know, I think there's elements to like how as kids and the mentality we have around certain parts of the year. But yeah, I think these are explainable. I just like what but the theory on TikTok, the February, what is their theory behind why? Because I could sit there and explain it like I just did, but
I'll look into it. All I know is that it's a theory out there that people are
like a commonality.
Well, I'm excited to hear about these other theories.
They're very fun. I'm really excited.
Tune in on Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some great updates for you. Excited to bring them to you. Don't forget to send in your questions or updates at asknick@theviallfiles.com. And just remember, if you are looking for more updates, check out Viall Files Plus. In addition to our update specials, we have like almost 30 some update episodes available for you. Plus, we have Vanderpump Recap. We got our Pop Extra episodes as well. More to come. Let's get to our first caller.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
Welcome back, Morgan.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going very well. How are you doing?
Better. A lot better.
That's good. Well, for the audience, this is Morgan's second update. She originally called in, what was the first episode?
669.
669. And you're basically being ghosted by your then fiance.
Right.
Let's play a quick clip from that.
I broke off my engagement to my fiance and I want to try to work things out. After he proposed, after I said yes, he started talking about like, I really want to get married a year from now. And I just said, I wanted to know that this was where you were, not necessarily that we had to get married right away, but I also wanted to be able to have time to work through things. And I also wanted us to just make sure that like personally and together that we were in a good place because we had just had a big blow up like the week before. After I said, let's take some steps back, make sure we're good. Communication that was typical, like the regular phone calls, text messages, whatever we do, just stopped. And that went on for about 3 weeks. After that, he kind of came back around and I brought that up to him and I said, hey, like when you do this, I feel like you're just leaving the relationship and you don't want to address it when you do. After that, he did the same thing for another month. After a while, I just asked, like, do you feel like you even have time for a relationship? Because I feel like I'm just in it myself. And then he took a second, thought about it and said, I don't think I have time for a relationship right now. And then I said, then I can't be here in this capacity.
And why do you want to get back together?
The sad part is I don't even know if I can answer that question anymore.
Your desire to get back together is a reactive decision. And big picture is you've been dating this guy for 6 years. You get engaged via stress. I think it's alarming to hear you say that over the course of 6 years, you feel like you've put in way more than he's put in. And maybe this is just, it's time to move on. When was the last time you spoke with him?
A little over a month ago at this point.
And are we done?
Yeah, we're done. Nothing was really different. We have lots of mutual friends. One of those sets of mutual friends is getting married, and we are both in the wedding party for one person. I'm with the bride, he's with the groom.
When is that wedding?
I agreed to this before we split.
When's the wedding?
April.
I think in the meantime, you could block him. And then when you do, and he gets inevitably like annoyed or mad about it, you can just say, listen, it's no offense, literally. I needed to move on. It's that simple. Spend the next few months like really investing in yourself and show up drop dead gorgeous. And yeah, these are hard. It's so hard to move on from someone, especially when you had a very serious relationship and you took some major steps in engagement. Obviously, you expected to have a life with this person, so it can be really tough. But it seems like you're doing a good job not making it any tougher than it already is or needs to be. And then you called in with an update that you were no longer engaged. You set some healthy boundaries, but you had a bit of a dilemma that you were both going to the same wedding.
Yeah. So that dilemma actually was tripled. So it was 3 weddings within 6 months.
Okay.
It was a combination.
Did we know that when you first called, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think I was more concerned about the one we were both in than those other ones.
Yeah.
But the first one was we were both just guests. The second one, which was the one that we kind of focused in on, was the one where we were both in the wedding party. The third one, which is this upcoming weekend, is actually he's in it. I'm not. I'm just a guest. So that's kind of like the flow of things for the last, at this point, almost 6 months.
So how has it been going? And do you have any reluctance about this wedding this week? Or now are you kind of a seasoned vet when it comes to dealing or like encountering him?
I would say I was a lot more uneasy going into this wedding before going to the one that we were both in. So like I had a lot of like uneasy feelings and anxieties about it because like I just didn't really know what to expect. Because with the first one that happened where we were both just guests, that was 2 months before the one that we were both in. And that one, like nothing happened. Like it was like my presence wasn't really acknowledged and neither was his on my end. So like nothing really happened. But of course, like still not knowing what to expect when we're both going to be essentially running in the same circles for the whole weekend on different sides of the wedding party. That kind of made me uneasy because I was wondering how involved are we all going to be in lots of different processes, or how often are both groups going to be spending time together in the same spaces? Because that was really concerning for me. Because there wasn't really like a way that I could just like leave and walk away because I made a commitment to somebody else. And so I didn't want to make it all about me. But I would say at this point with the wedding that's coming up, I don't know if I haven't felt differently over the past, few days or weeks, but I would like to think at this point, it's just kind of like, it is what it is. He's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm supporting my friend. He's supporting his friend, which are two different people that we both know, but, we're still supporting whoever they are. And I'm really just trying to put myself in the best headspace to remember, like, I'm there for my friends for their day.
Have you felt after the 2 weddings that you went to, like, I guess, how did you feel? Was there that kind of, was there the emotional hangover of having to like run into an ex, or do you feel like that's getting better?
The first one, not really, only because like we literally did not speak. It was like we did not exist to each other. So the first one didn't really feel much of anything. The second one, from last month, it was a little bit more heavy just because like, again, not really knowing the dynamics of like how much time are we truly going to be spending together as groups in one big setting. Of course, I don't necessarily have to be next to him, but like how often and for how long would I be sharing the same space with him? So, of course, even though the bride like put me at ease of like what that all would be, because I had never been in a wedding before, I didn't really know what that was going to look like. So that's kind of what made me nervous and anxious. At the wedding itself, on the day, held it together. I was good up until the reception, and I think like we didn't really speak at all. And then like we were just outside, and then I was by a door and he was walking outside and he was just kind of looking at me, and I was just like, can I help you? Can I help you, more or less? I know we say like don't indulge or like entertain like a whole bunch of stuff, but I just kind of was like, I pulled him to the side and I was just like, I honestly like just don't understand how you could look me and my family and your family in the face. And I mean, to me, it just felt like he lied about like wanting to be with me, and then like in the same breath, like ditching me after asking me. So that like it's not like he said he wanted to be with me and didn't ask me to marry him. He did. And I feel like at that moment, my brain just kind of like glazed over because I felt like I was just being fed like bullshit. So I'm going to be honest, I kind of just like blacked out and just didn't really listen because I felt like it was just excuse after excuse to just justify whatever behavior he did, which was inexcusable to me. And then after a while, I just kind of was like, it's more of the same. It's still a lot more of the same. It's the same person standing in front of me. To me, it looked like nothing was learned. So.
Oh, I doubt it. But
yeah,
what we need to get from you though is some emotional progress. How long ago did you guys break up?
This was back in not December, September of last year.
Okay. So it's still relatively new, and you were together for how long?
Too long, 6 years.
Yeah. So it's been less than 6 months. You were together for 6 years. You're engaged. It would make sense that you're not indifferent about this breakup. But we just want to see progress for you, and I guess it's like right now, and I'm only saying this just hopefully so that you can see it and visualize it. But like when you're talking, you're still in the trying to understand phase, the why or how could you do this? Like, and it makes sense. Like, he didn't give you a lot of answers. He gave you more things to be confused about. I said this to someone earlier for a different reason, but like we do this thing, especially during breakups, where we have a lot of questions, obviously, and we assume or expect those questions to be answered by the people that we're breaking up with or frustrated with, which is logical in a sense. But the truth is we always, like I'm sure you've heard from a lot of people or you've heard on this show that like you don't get closure from other people, you get closure from yourself. And so like truly the answer to all your questions, like you have those answers and you're not going to get it from him. To be honest, it would probably almost be frustrating in a different way if you actually if you saw a lot of growth in him. If you saw, you know, well, where was this growth when we were dating? You know, like where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's frustrating that you're not getting the answers you want, but I think you're looking for the answers in the wrong place, I guess is what I'm saying. And and I'm probably sounding annoying when I say this, but you know, like his lack of change, his lack of ability to articulate why he did what he did or why he did the 180, that is your answer, you know, and that is, and you trying to get to a place, you know, like he lied, you know, it's like, you know, you mentioned like it felt like all lies, you know, maybe I doubt, I mean, let me ask you this. Do you really, when you say lie, do you feel like when he proposed to you or, you know, the tail end of the relationship, when he's, you know, expressed feelings, you know, do you think he was saying things he didn't mean? Or do you think he was just not really thinking about what he was saying and what it meant? You know what I'm saying? Type of thing where, or he was too scared to communicate with you about how his feelings were changing in real time?
I think it could have been a little bit of both. I think it could have been that he was like both of the things that you said, but I also feel like that there was, while we were together, that he just wasn't really communicating at all, like where he was at, like fully. And then it was just like, we're having issues and problems and I'm reacting the way that I am because I'm not understanding what you're doing and you can't explain it to me. Or like, you can't explain to me what's happening, or you don't want to share it, or you want to avoid the conversation, whatever it is. So then that was making me frustrated.
Yeah. I remember you telling me the first time we talked, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like incredibly stubborn, set in his ways.
Selfish to a fault.
That was it. It was selfish to a fault. That's what it was. Yeah. So
but stubborn's right.
Yeah. But I think you have to remember that you said that, you know, and I think what I want for you is to seek out less answers from him and keep reminding yourself that the truth is, you should be thankful you're no longer with someone that you described was selfish to a fault. And someone who you described as selfish to a fault, like, you know, again, imagine, like, again, you think about it. Imagine if you ran into him and you saw someone who wasn't selfish to a fault. Then you'd really felt cheated. Like, where did all this growth come from in 5 months without me? You know, so I think it's just, there's obviously still a lot of sadness about the relationship ending, which is justifiable. And I think it's getting over the situation in him is reminding yourself that you're not going to get your answers from him. And it's that acceptance of, and trying to see it for what it is. But to do that, you kind of have to stop having him be the bad guy in your head. And instead of anger, you start feeling pity. You know, pity that like he isn't going to figure his shit out. Like, if he doesn't change, he's going to get into another relationship with another person who will first see all his good qualities, and he will find a way to mask his bad qualities. And a really unlucky person will date that person for 6 years like you did, you know, but maybe not, you know, over some period of time. And assuming he doesn't change, that selfishness will reveal itself after this, next person, you know, invests a lot in him. And so that's the pity you have for them, or pity for him realizing whatever he's wanting, he doesn't even know what he wants. And when he does, he's not going to be able to get it because he's not willing to see how he acts or how selfish he is, and, you know, and things like that. And then being grateful that you're not with that person anymore. It sucks for you. You have all these weddings coming up. It just kind of brings you back.
This is the last one as far as I'm aware of. So thankfully, like, that's like the last hurdle. But no, you're definitely right. I think I find myself like kind of teetering between like feeling pity and then just kind of like the sadness of it. But I think for the most part, like, I am grateful that I'm not farther along in that situation than I did get. Like, I could be married to that person, or I could have kids with them, and it'd be a much harder knot to untie, or it could cost me more than just
so much more. Because it's so harder to deal with a selfish person when you're married, and especially when you have kids. And then because you're married and you have kids, then it's like you're that much more susceptible to convincing yourself that you're part of the problem and that they're not as selfish, because like you're kind of stuck in the situation. You have to make it work. So, you know, which you're not actually stuck, but you get what I'm saying, you know. But
yeah, just harder to separate.
Do you think it's possible, knowing that you have a wedding this weekend, do you think it's possible to, and correct me if I'm wrong, because like it seems like the first time you just tried to avoid them, which is a totally acceptable type of, or did it just, you didn't, or did you not even have to try?
The first one, honestly, I really didn't even have to try. I say that because like we physically just weren't in close proximity to each other for whatever reason. And then the only time where I actually was close to him was to tell our friends that we have together that I was leaving. And he just happened to be there. That was the closest I ever got to him on that first wedding. And then even for the second one where we were both in, I told my friends, I said, hey, this is the situation. This is what happened. I don't mean to inconvenience you, but more or less keep him away from me. Like, I don't want to be near him. I don't want to walk with him. Pictures, I want your pictures and everything about your wedding day to be as simple and as easy and as drama free as possible. So I'm letting you know, like, please don't put me near him. I don't know what this weekend is going to look like, but I mean, it's a lot easier considering like he's stuck wherever he's got to be for that wedding, and I can leave whenever I want.
So my question to you, and it's okay if you're not there yet, but is there a world where you could go to this wedding and treat him like someone you went to high school with that you barely remember? And so, and that would look like this. You run into him, like, you know, you don't try to avoid him. You don't try to seek him out. You just try to have fun. Your goal is to have fun. If you do run into him, if you do encounter him, you know, this is what you know, if you kind of ran into someone you went to high school with, you barely remember, you would just be pleasant. Oh, hey, hi, it's good to see you. Like, oh, it's like, how's it going? Well, whatever. And then you would like try to end the conversation because you're not that interested in catching up with the person you barely knew in high school, but you're just like really nice. You're just like, you're nice, but you're not like interested, or you're just kind of like pleasant. You're courteous. You're like, we're a stranger. Cause like, I tell you what, if you're not ready yet, that's totally understandable. But if you're able to do it, it's a great feeling. It's a powerful feeling. It catches them off guard because right now, he's expecting you to still be mad or still be frustrated, to give him a look, to give him some attitude, maybe corner him again and ask him more questions that he doesn't want to answer, or, you know, yada, yada, yada. And if he were to see you and run into you and you're just like, hey, Mike, good to see you, man. Everything good? Great. Yeah. Awesome. You know, and like a total benign, just kind of nothing, you know, exchange pleasantries with like, they're just a somebody. You would leave that conversation feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah, no, you're right. My therapist told me the same thing. So, I think there's a world where I probably could. I don't know what that would look like at this wedding.
Even if you faked it. I mean, you know, you might not feel it inside. You might not actually be indifferent. But if you were able to fake it to the point, and you fake it because I promise you, it would fuck him up. Like your therapist wouldn't tell you that. But like if you want, if you want motivation, it will annoy him. Because, you know, people are weird. It's like, I don't think he is getting off on having power over you. But the fact that you still hold any type of negative feelings towards him is some version of power he has over you, you know, and you caring is power. And so the moment you're just like over it, or you don't care, you know, he's probably going to tell people like, oh, I wish you get over it. I wish you wouldn't care. But like it is power, and people don't like to lose power of any kind. And people don't like, you know, there's a lot of people who like don't want to be with someone, but don't like it when people are over them. And so if you were to show him that he can't get a reaction out of you, or you're just like, that's the thing. It's basically just not reacting to him. It's not making it look like you're avoiding him, or that like people need to be aware of the situation. There's no situation. It's just, he's just some guy. And if you were to then, need a break, I wouldn't, don't make it maybe you have one friend who does, kind of comes out with you, but like the less you can make it a thing, the more it is a thing. And it's just good practice. Cause I don't know, I used to like I remember certain breakups I had, and I would just, oh my God, the idea of running into her, I would be like, I would die, I don't think I could handle it. I would crumble. It would just destroy me. And I would convince, and I manifested that reality. It was, I thought it was true, and therefore I made it true. I told myself I wasn't going to be okay, so I wasn't okay. And I just kind of I got so tired of feeling that way. Eventually I got better at it, and I had to fake it at first. I had to like, inside I was fucking hurting a little bit, but outwardly I was like, I was chill, I was cool. But seeing how it affected that person made me feel less bothered by it. And then and I realized I can change how I see the situation. So just a thought, and if you're not ready, that's totally fine, but you're losing out on the opportunities to have this happen.
No, I know. I was going to say, if I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity, like this is probably one of the last times where I can do that.
Now, the trick is to not go there to show them up. The trick here is to go there and have fun, focus on why you're there. You're there to support your friend, have fun with your girls or other friends that you're there, but just be prepared that you might run into him, and you don't try to avoid him. And if you have a chance, if he's there and within 10 feet of you, you walk up and be like, hey, it's good to see you. You been well? Cool. Yeah, all right. All right. You look nice. Yeah, cool. And you're just bizarrely chill. It'll drive him nuts. I promise. No matter how he acts, I promise you it'll drive him nuts. And it'll be a good step for you. And then between now and then, when you're, a lot of it is, you have to stop asking yourself why and how could this happen?
Yeah, I'm not asking myself that question anymore.
Okay, well,
like
you
said, I already I remember like from other episodes that you would do with other people that call in, that you would say, what is your gut telling you?
Yeah.
What puts your mind at ease? And all the things that I tell myself are what puts my mind at ease. There's no reason to ask why anymore.
That's good. That's good. Well, now we just have to stop giving him the satisfaction that you remotely care.
Yeah.
And the big thing is like, part of it is just like, it's telling yourself it's going to be okay, not psyching yourself out. Don't like, it was understandable at first why you had your concerns about this, but like literally now you have experience in this. So being like, you know what? I'm totally fine the first 2 times. I'm going to be fine here. This is a nothing thing. I might run into him. I might not. He's in the wedding party, but if I do, it's just not a thing. I'm not going to give him a look. I'm going to say hi. Don't do the whole, like, you guys are 20 feet away from each other, but you're both pretending you're not there. Just go ahead and say hi. Pat him on the back. Hey, good to see you, pal. You look, but yeah, the more you can treat him like he's a bro or a friend, the better.
Yeah. I got to get past the mental block for that, but but I know you're right. I know that.
Well, that's a good. And again, if you can't do it, it's okay. Don't go like, if it's Monday and you didn't do it, or you had like you gave in to whatever it is you were feeling in the moment, and maybe you even made it obvious, maybe you even acted like you cared more than you actually cared on Monday. Don't beat yourself up over it, because what I am suggesting is still like kind of a waste of your energy. Like, you shouldn't really care about pissing him off. It is still kind of fun. But yeah, I still remember running into my exes after relationships ended, and they made it very clear that they cared deeply about me being indifferent, and it was a good feeling. Like, they reacted to my being over it in a way that was very validating. But either way, you're going to be fine. So go in, have fun. If it doesn't go the way you want, who gives a shit? Whatever. But if you can make this work, if you can Go in, focus on your friends, focus in on your weekend, and just be prepared to run into them. And if you do, just be pleasant and treat them like a bro.
Thanks, guys, for the advice. Nick, as most times, you're pretty much right, pretty spot on. So,
well, I'm glad I could help. Let us know how this weekend goes. Write us in, and especially if you're able to do it, because it's such a good feeling. I know from personal experience that when you know, and very few of us have an opportunity to do that, to like run into an ex that used to fuck us up and we pined over, or we avoided, or we were afraid to run into, only to eventually run into them and show them with our actions that we're kind of just over it and fine and moved on. It's a great feeling. So I hope that you are able to experience it.
I'm gonna build up the courage to do it.
All right. Well, it's a fine line. Like, don't psych yourself out though. The trick is to like, when you're thinking about this wedding, you're thinking about you and your friends. And if he pops in your head, you just tell yourself, this isn't a big deal. There's nothing to worry about. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to say hi, move on. This is not a big deal. I know it, like, he has nothing over me, you know? And whatever the most annoying memory you have of him, memories of him being gross or giving you the ick or whatever it is, that's how you visualize him. You know?
Yeah, it's honestly not hard to do that. So
there you go. So that's how, but those little, I mean, it sounds corny, but that shit works. It really does work. So, all right. Well, good luck. I appreciate the update.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll write in with an update.
You as well. Have fun this weekend. Have a blast.
You.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Welcome back, Jessie.
Hi, thank you for having me back. This is Jessie, 24. My previous call-in was about my friends who couldn't make it to my full bachelorette party because they just had like a slew of excuses. So I was only able to have my maid of honor, my mom, and my stepmom come.
Yeah, and like you weren't sure how to handle it, or like whether it was you or your maid of honor who was also pregnant, and you were worried about putting that on her, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. She actually had the baby now. And so an update now is she did send out that message that you had originally asked or kind of suggested that I ask for her to send out.
Just so we remind people what that message was, let's play a quick flashback from your original call to remind our audience.
I have a bachelorette trip coming up, and actually over half of my bridesmaids are only committing to one night instead of a whole weekend. I had originally gave them the date almost a year in advance, and they had all agreed to it. And now that it's 3 months away, most of them are now backing out and staying only one night instead of the whole night. So I'm just a little frustrated, and I don't know if I should bring it up with them.
And what conversations about this have you had with the maid of honor, if any?
She'd planned most of this before, and so now we're just kind of at a standstill trying to figure out.
I would suggest that she sends a group text to the group without you in it and guilts them into stepping up, because not everyone's going to be able to do it, but some of them should be able to be like, you know what, I can do 2 nights, see where that goes. All right. In your words, what was the message?
Yeah, she basically just sent out pretty much close to verbatim of what you had suggested, of just asking them, like, we should really come together for our bride and be present at least for Friday and Saturday night. And she'd really appreciate you guys coming, since she, is very supportive of all of you guys. So she did send out that message, and it was received decently well. 2 of the girls committed to Friday and Saturday, and the other 3 are still coming Friday. But we changed the whole trip to just Friday, Saturday, no longer Sunday.
Great. Sounds like a good compromise.
Yeah, it was a good compromise. I think it helped too that my mother-in-law ended up just booking the Airbnb and paying for it, so that we wouldn't have to worry about scheduling, changing, and everything.
Yeah, that was very generous of her. Yeah. Because I know there was an argument of like, like their pricing, it's like you out of your own bachelorette. It's like every time they canceled, it made it more expensive for you.
Yeah, it definitely did. But so far, everything seems to be going pretty well, and it's going to be in a couple weeks. So I'm happy with where things are at now, even though 3 of my other friends couldn't make it for the full weekend. But
and that's okay. And that happens. But at least it seems like a drastic change from what you thought it was going to be. So that's good. Great. Just some great communication. Amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do?
We're just going to Bend, Oregon. We're doing a night out on Friday, and then Saturday we're just doing some winery stuff and kind of chilling at the Airbnb.
Great, yeah. Which honestly might be more fun, a smaller group, a little bit more intimate the second day. You guys can blow it out the first night with everyone there. It'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, yeah, it sounds like I was somewhat helpful. Great. That's always nice to hear.
You were. Thank you.
I was really bummed if it was like, honestly, they were just like annoyed and hated your message.
Yeah, I was a little worried that they might have been, but it sounds like it was received well. So
great. And like the best part is like no one made you feel bad about it.
Yeah. And I wasn't included in any other conversation of it. So I think that was good that it was a third party sending it versus from me.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad it could work out. It's amazing how much drama there is with weddings and bachelorette parties. I never could hear any drama with bachelor parties. I wonder what that is. Why is that? Why is there so much more drama with bachelorette parties?
Yeah. I don't know. With my fiance, he had a couple friends that couldn't go, but it just seemed very like,
okay.
Most people were able to come. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate the update. I hope the party goes great.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Amazing. Take care.
Okay. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back, Amy.
How's it going?
Doing very well. How about you?
I'm making it. It's going good.
Okay. Well, the first time you called in was, I think, episode 726. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Bachelor Joey and his beautiful fiance Kelsey episode. For those of you who don't know, you called in with some bachelorette wedding party drama. Your maid of honor was being the maid of dishonor. Maid of dishonor.
Yes.
There you go. Just made that up on my own. Let's just play a quick flashback from the original call to bring our audience up to speed of that first call.
My ex-maid of honor is bashing my fiance. Okay. They are just at war with each other.
Why is she your ex-maid of honor?
Yeah, was she your maid of honor at your wedding, or did you fire her to be your maid of honor?
Yeah, she fired herself. I get married in October. She decided after I asked her if she would be it a couple months later that she no longer wanted to. She saw something on TikTok that she hated, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
What did she see on TikTok?
Yeah.
Well, we went out for like my end of the year work thing. It was good. We were having a good time. And then after the work thing, we just like went out for drinks, and I got a little too drunk. He like made a funny video of me like in the car eating this Rice Krispie treat. She hated it, and she called me the next day, and she was like, he just like completely disrespect you. He was like making crude jokes. I don't know why you're not mad about this. Like if that's the way he talks to you like that, then
and did
I
he
can
posted
only imagine,
it
like,
and then she saw it and that's what upset her?
Yeah.
Were you upset that it was up there? Did you even care?
No, I really did not even care. So when she called me to hate on this, I was just kind of like, "What? I don't know what you want me to say."
You're like, I don't care. Like it
does
didn't
not
hurt
bother
me.
me.
Yeah.
When I was ranting to him about it, he was not happy with the things that she had said, and he had sent her a message on Instagram. You need to stay out of our relationship. I don't know why you would even be calling me things like that. I don't appreciate you saying that when you're not in a relationship at all, let alone have been for the past couple years.
That was my next question.
Serious one.
Yeah, what's her relationship status?
Single as fuck.
And how close were you two before you guys started dating?
Super. I mean, I've been friends with her for about 15 years.
Did you start spending less time with her and more time with him and once you and your boyfriend got together?
No, not really. She does not think she's in the wrong whatsoever.
Does she think, well, I mean, it would be possible if she actually thinks he is those things. Does she still think that?
Yeah, her opinion has not changed.
She thinks he is potentially an abusive boyfriend, fiance?
Yeah, she had
Based
called me
on
at
what,
one
though?
point.
All from a joke?
I don't know. They've only hung out like twice. You know, she's definitely somebody being like my close friend that I go to and I confide in when we're arguing or when he annoys me, you know, just like you do with your friends. And I think she's held on to just like all these negative things. He did, for my sake, message her and say like, hey, I just want to let things mull over. Like, I just want to move forward. Not going to apologize because I don't think I'm wrong, but want to just let this blow. Like, I just want to continue on. We can move forward from here. I thought, that was as nice as he was going to get. I appreciated the fact that he even took the stance too. And then when I tried to call her yesterday, she blew up on me. Like, how could you let him send me that kind of message? That was total bullshit, essentially. Like, why didn't you read it before he sent that to me? Like, that is
why would it have mattered?
It sounds like she's going through something personally and she's taking it out on all of the wrong people. And I think maybe it's time to just take a step back from the friendship, let her figure out her stuff. And if you just need to say, like, I'm here if you want to talk, but like right now I'm gonna focus on my marriage, and if you need me, I'm here, but like I need to step away from this friendship.
Totally agree with Natalie. You're trying too hard to save this friendship, and she's giving you nothing to work with, and her behavior doesn't make sense. So like Natalie pointed out, the only thing that does make sense is she's just projecting her own unhappiness onto you. Also, you can point out my fiance has never spoken to me or you in the way you just spoke to both of us. So for all of your accusations about what you think he is, I think you need to take a long look in the mirror. And until then, as sad as it makes me feel, I don't think it would be appropriate for us to continue our relationship. All right, and now we're back. So anyway, in your words, give us a brief summary of why you originally called, the advice we gave you. What did you do with that advice, and where are we now?
Yeah, so pretty much my maid of honor and my fiance at the time were just completely clashing. Definitely not seeing eye to eye and exchanging some choice words. I actually really appreciated your guys' advice, which was essentially cut her loose. She's not your friend. She doesn't want to be your friend. And she really just didn't have my interest at heart, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because she just kind of had a problem with you and your fiance kind of at every turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't really like him at all. And so honestly, I actually took that advice really to heart. I loved it. Getting it from a third party perspective and not just hearing it from, my friends and my family really kind of set at home with me. And it gave me a lot of peace, to be honest. I needed the brutal honesty of it. Since then, we still have not talked. She has not reached out to me. I have not reached out to her.
So you just, from the time you called, you didn't really do anything. You just stopped expecting.
Trying.
Yeah, you stopped having expectations of her. Really.
Yeah. And that was really a lot of what you said, which I also really enjoyed, was that you said, you put in so much more effort into this than it deserves, and you've done everything you can do, and that's what it is. And I was like, damn, he's right. I have tried a lot, and I'm not going to be the first to reach out again, and I'm not always going to be the first to apologize again. And so I stuck with that.
So she's officially no longer your maid of honor.
No, and actually I don't even think we're friends anymore. Like I really can't tell.
So what was the last conversation you had with her?
The last conversation I had was when he had tried to apologize. I had called her to just check in with her on a regular phone call kind of thing. And she just lost it on me. And I just was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this right now. And I just hung up. And that was our last conversation.
How long ago was that?
The day before I was on. So March. Okay. Like 2 months, March 25th, okay. End of March.
So have you asked someone else to be your maid of honor yet?
Oh, yeah. My second long-term best friend, which in hindsight, I wanted to choose her at first, but I wanted to give this person a special place immediately. Like I texted her and I was like, hey, so-and-so like backed out. And she was like, oh, it's okay. I'll do it. And she just took it and ran with it. She's been planning all my things. She's been just the best support, a great shoulder to kind of cry on through it, but also the one to be like, yeah, no, you've got nothing to worry about. Like you've got better people here.
Which is also nice that she didn't take that opportunity to, make it about her, where she almost, even if she joked about being like second choice,
Yeah. No, she didn't at all.
Yeah, right. And I think that says a lot, right? Because even if the joke comes up, that means that's something that they're thinking about or prioritizing, or putting or showing signs that they like your initial maid of honor almost certainly would have.
Yeah. Oh, 100% she would have.
Yeah. Been like, well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it because it's like really important, and knowing that I was like your second choice. I'm like,
Nope. This chick, I texted her. She was like, "Don't worry, I'll do it." I was like, I know you were just waiting for something to happen to be like, yeah, I'll slide in. I got it. I can do this.
Well, that's great. Are you at peace? And it sounds like you're at peace with the decision.
I am. Can't change it. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to, like I said, continue to keep apologizing over and over for things that there's no need for me to apologize for. And I'm not just going to suck up for no reason. So I feel good about it.
What do you think you would do if she reached back out at some point? Like, what's her MO?
Thought about this.
Like, what's her MO? Like, is her MO to like follow, like send you a text like a month acting like nothing happened?
I probably won't hear from her again unless I reach out.
Really? Okay.
For better or for worse, she stands very firm in her opinions and her actions. Sometimes very respectful. That's one of the things I loved about her and really admired about her. She's somebody who she sticks to what she thinks she knows is best. And I think that's great. I wish I did that more sometimes, but in this instance, I am. So I know I won't hear from her unless I reach out first. And even if we were to have a conversation, I don't even know what I would say. I have no idea. I've thought about it multiple times. There'd be nothing left for me to say because some of the things that she said back to him hurt me. And ultimately, if you're not willing to come into the conversation with empathy of my feelings were hurt, his feelings were hurt, your feelings were hurt, we've all kind of maybe hurt each other, then there's just no room for us to have a conversation if you can't.
Well, that's kind of the point, Listen, we always want to be friends to our friends. And I think the hardest part of being a friend in an adult situation to another friend is when you don't like their choice of partner.
Yeah.
But how you go about that matters, And then in this situation where it almost felt like, well, what do you actually have a problem with? And then, what are you basing this off? Like, I know the original, like she just had her opinion and it didn't matter, anything he could have said or done, and then when you sit down and be like, all right, not that you even have to explain yourself, but like, let's say you have a friend who you care deeply about and you have your partner who you care deeply about. And for whatever reason, your friend is like, I don't know, red flags. I just don't, like them. If it really mattered to you, you could sit down and be like, all right, your partner was willing to have a conversation with him. Like you tried, you put in, like we said, so much effort to just be like, well, what is it that you have a problem with? And usually most friends, when they have a problem with a friend's partner, they wish they had the opportunity to sit down and have a civil conversation to say, well, these are the things that concern me. I really care about my friend. You were willing to do that. Like she just wanted to be right. So.
Yes, I think she did. And it's unfortunate for her to want to feel that so strongly that you're going to, miss out on life events as life continues on. But it's your choice, not mine.
All right. Well, yeah. Growing up, a big rite of passage of adulthood is losing friends.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Honestly.
You just it's you don't think you're going to outgrow people, but you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you outgrow people by simply just having less, like a lot of, like if you're lucky, your adult friendships will just outgrow each other by, seeing them, every once in a while, sending the Christmas cards with the family. When you go into town or whatever, you say hi, you catch up, but you kind of both know you're just not as close as you used to be. But you maintain the friendship through like just checking in now and then because you both have busy lives and, you got a family, they got a family or whatever. And like your busy lives allow you guys never to like have to break up because you can just kind of turn that intense friendship into more a casual friendship and then kind of blame it on your lives, so to speak. But sometimes in these situations, some friends won't let that happen. And they almost want a big breakup. In a way, maybe this was her projecting to have a breakup with you. She just can't handle,
life moving.
You outgrow it. Yeah, well, yeah, some people can't. So it's a challenge. How we navigate our interpersonal friendships is, I think, an often not talked about difficult challenge of adulthood. because it is sad. And, you never imagined you have to break up with friends, but you just outgrow people, and sometimes they outgrow you, and it's often for the best.
Yeah, 100%. You nailed it. It's sad. There's moments I look back and I'm like, oh, and then there's other moments where I'm like,
yeah,
was I just blind to some other things in our friendship? So,
probably, yeah.
Very much like a breakup.
Yeah, I mean, blind, or it wasn't relevant at the time, or you just kind of accept, like certain friendships you can accept people's bad habits because they don't really get in the way, but what you saw was her being, the friend that could really stand her ground. Like you said, there are probably aspects of you appreciated it. You just never went up against it. And so here you are. All right.
I am.
Well, appreciate the update. How are things going in the relationship?
Great. Things have been going great. Wedding planning, we're wrapping it up. Thank God.
When's the big day?
Over it. It's in October.
Okay.
Yeah. So super excited about that. Ready to just get it out of the way.
Well, have fun. Don't be afraid. Make sure you still have fun.
Yeah, I will. Yours look gorgeous. I loved all the pictures.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had a good time.
Oh, looks like it.
It was a lot of fun.
I was, ready for it. Got me excited. And I stole Natalie's playlist. So
love that.
I definitely appreciate the share of that.
We love that. All right. Great to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations again. Excited to hear about the wedding, and thanks for the update.
Yeah. Thanks for reaching back out.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoy these updates. Once again, there are more update specials behind Viall Files Plus, so go check them out. Otherwise, we'll see you back on Monday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.